Hey guys, it's Lord of the Pogs. The Hellraiser reboot came out on Hulu last week, and a lot of people are talking about it. I have mixed feelings about it. It wasn't better than the original, I'll say that. It lacked a lot of the supernatural elements that were prevalent in the original. There was more gore, which only goes so far. The CGI was arguably better, but in this case I think that was more of a hindrance. The story was unnecessarily complicated. It strayed further from the book than the original, with the only consistencies being LeMarchand's box and the presence of the Cenobites. It wasn't bad, but admittedly it didn't live up to my expectations. One of the things that's always fascinated me about Hellraiser is LeMarchand's box. The history of puzzle boxes goes back thousands of years. For as long as mankind has believed in the concept of a heaven and a hell, there have been those who have actively sought the means to gain entrance into these realms through whatever means. The most common artifact for gaining access to the dimension of misery and pain is an unassuming device that takes the shape of a cube. Throughout history, the image of a cube is seen in the world's various cultures, from the Rubik's Cube to the Tesseract from the Avengers movies. Throughout the world, the image of a cube is a thing of power and is quite pertinent, especially in occultism. Clive Barker introduced the notorious LeMarchand boxes, masterfully constructed puzzle boxes that became the embodiment of forbidden knowledge, a secret that could only be solved through obsession. In short, a LeMarchand's box is a mechanical device that temporarily undoes the boundaries between dimensions and opens a gateway. The solution of the puzzle creates a bridge through which beings may travel in either direction across this schism. A LeMarchand box can be activated by pressing a series of hidden pressure points within a precise order. Similar to a Chinese puzzle lockbox, it changes shape in accordance to which button has been pressed. These shapes range from individual body parts removing themselves from the main body, to the entire bulk of the box gaining the shape of either a flower or even a lozenge. Operating the mechanisms behind the box requires the combined effort of both hands of the user, with every finger having to squeeze or scratch the box's surfaces. Solving the puzzle accurately can take hours of one's time, although this has not been the case during its appearance in the various Hellraiser films. After the puzzle has been completely solved, the puzzle box will open up a portal to a parallel dimension from which the Cenobites originate, as well as the home which they inhabit. An ongoing debate is whether this realm is intended to be the Christian version of Hell, or some other dimension of endless pain and suffering. Hellraiser 2 suggests the Cenobites may have been human at one point, and were transformed into Cenobites after solving the puzzle themselves. In addition to using the lament configuration to summon the Cenobites, it can also be used to teleport them back to their world by reversing the opening sequences. The lament configuration, or Box of Sorrows, was the first of several boxes created by Philip LeMarchand, a young ingenious toymaker known for his intricate mechanical designs and a maker of mechanical singing birds. The box was commissioned from LeMarchand in 1784 by a wealthy aristocrat obsessed with dark magic named Duke de Lisle. After this, it became the subject of legend. The next time the box appeared was in 1986 in Dusseldorf, West Germany, when Frank Cotton pursued the rumored box and bought it from a dealer in Morocco. Back at his house, he solved the puzzle and hooked chains immediately flew out of it, tearing into his flesh, and the Cenobites then appeared. The lead Cenobite, who pop culture would come to remember as Pinhead, then twisted the box back into its original state, and the room immediately returned to normal, but with Frank and the box nowhere to be found. Author Clive Barker described the lament configuration on the first page of the novel The Hellbound Heart.
The interior surfaces were brilliantly polished. Frank's reflection, distorted, fragmented, skittered across the lacquer. LeMarchand had constructed the box so that opening it tripped a musical mechanism, which began to tinkle a short rondo of sublime banality. Encouraged by his success, Frank proceeded to work on the box more feverishly, quickly finding fresh alignments of fluted slot and oiled peg, which revealed further intricacies, and with each solution, each new half twist or pull, a further melodic element was brought into play. The tune counterpointed and developed until the initial caprice was all but lost in ornamentation. At some point in his labors, the bell had begun to ring. He had not heard it, but when the puzzle was almost finished, he became aware that it might have been ringing half a lifetime. Sound was coming from somewhere much more distant, which LeMarchand's miraculous box had been constructed to open. In moments they would be here, the ones called the Cenobites.
The film version of the lament configuration is merely twisted into new alignments or shapes, whereas the novel version is completely disassembled and reassembled. The film version is also trimmed in either brass or gold and seems to have arcane symbols etched into its surface. The novel version is completely smooth and has no obvious symbols, save for an almost imperceptible etching along the seams between the pieces. It also seems to display the faces of its victims in the light reflected over its surface. In the final chapter of The Hellbound Heart, after protagonist Christy Cotton has been given the box for safekeeping, she is relieved, after contemplating the possibility of the existence of other puzzle boxes which may lead safe passage into paradise rather than pain. The lament configuration was LeMarchand's first and arguably most classic puzzle. Its complexity was managed by expanding on the design of a similar box designed and constructed by Albertus Magnus in the 13th century. It possessed a minutiae of clockwork mechanisms. When operated properly, a pleasing melody issued from within. The Triumph of Judas was the 9th box created by Philip LeMarchand, though it was the second one he had conceptualized. He based its workings on the secret geometry contained in the Last Supper painting by Leonardo da Vinci. Love's Easy Tears was LeMarchand's 10th puzzle. The surface panels were designed to be manipulated in the same manner and order as bones in one's body. It is said that working this box brings an intense feeling of depression to the manipulator. The Hollow Heart was LeMarchand's 14th puzzle. It is activated by arranging the numerous surface plates in a manner similar to the arrangement of the streets of New York City at the time of its construction. Dr. Philip Channard, the main antagonist of the second Hellraiser installment, Hellbound, is shown to have collected several of these puzzle boxes, all of which can be used to summon the Cenobites and are kept on display in his study. Thanks for watching. If you've seen the new Hellraiser movie on Hulu, please let me know what you thought in the comments. And if you haven't read The Hellbound Heart, I highly, highly recommend it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a tip. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that little bell in the corner to get notifications on more videos like this one.